Hi guys, back with me again, Adi Kurniawan Yusuf. In this video, we're gonna learn together about classical assumption tests. Basically, there will be 5 types of classical assumption tests, but in this video, we're gonna learn 3 classical assumption tests only: normality, multicollinearity, and also linearity. While the other two, heteroscedasticity and also autocorrelation, will be learned in the other video. Now, what is classical assumption test? Classical assumption test is a diagnostic test used in the regression analysis to assess whether underlying assumptions of regression are met. One more time, classical assumption test is a diagnostic test used in the regression analysis to assess whether underlying assumptions of regression are met. So before you conduct regression analysis, you have to conduct classical assumption test. Classical assumption test is used to make sure that your data is good. So it is used to reach good data and generate good model. Violating classical assumption tests will lead to biased estimate and incorrect inferences. As I mentioned previously, there are 5 classical assumption tests. The first one is normality, the second one multicollinearity, the third one heteroscedasticity, the fourth one autocorrelation, and the fifth one is linearity. Normality is used when your sample is small. Gujarati mentions that large sample doesn't need normality test because their behavior is like normal distribution. For multicollinearity test, you have to conduct it if you have more than one independent variables. For heteroscedasticity, you have to conduct for all the models. The next one is autocorrelation. You just test autocorrelation when your data contain time series. For example, data in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. This data contain time series, therefore you have to check autocorrelation. If your data is not related to the time series, you don't need to conduct autocorrelation test. The last one is linearity. Linearity, basically, it is optional. You can check it or not check it. You can check it if you want to conduct linear regression analysis to make sure that your model is linear. However, for the financial data, this type of test may not be able to run because each X value will correspond to a unique Y value. Therefore, there will be few cases to analyze that makes linearity cannot be run. The prerequisite of good data is the first one, normally distributed. The second one, no multicollinearity. The third one, no heteroscedasticity. The fourth one, no autocorrelation. And the last one, if it is linear regression, of course the data should be linear, not quadratic or cube. In this video, we're gonna learn deeper about normality, multicollinearity, and also linearity. The first one, normality test. Normality test is to check whether the data is normally distributed or not. Good data has to be normally distributed. Gujarati mentioned that normality is important issue for the sample size. There is no universal standard about sample size, but some people argue that it is 100. However, in the large sample, normality assumption may not be crucial because the result of the analysis, the T and also F statistic behave almost like normally distributed data. If you know about central limit theorem, based on the central limit theorem, if your data is more than 30 or 40, your sample data tends to be normal. So the important thing you need to pay attention here is that if your sample size is small, usually less than 100, it is crucial to conduct normality test. But if your data is more than 100, normality test is not crucial. There are 2 most common normality tests. The first one is Shapiro-Wilk test, and the second one is Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. Shapiro-Wilk test is suitable to be used when your sample is less than or equal than 50, while the other Kolmogorov-Smirnov test is better to be used if your sample data is more than 50. This is the decision rule. If the p-value is larger than alpha, the common alpha used is 0.05, your data is normally distributed. The question is that how to conduct normality test in SPSS. Let's try together. So let's try to run normality test in SPSS. So I have data here from 3 variables x1, x2, and also y1. x1 and x2 will be the independent variable, while y1 will be the dependent variables. If you see here, there are several indicators or question. It means the variable is the latent variable. Okay? For latent variable, we have to find the average. So we need to find the x1 average, x2 average, y1 average. After you get it, you can copy the average only in the SPSS. Okay, we copy the result. This is x1 average, x2 average, y1 average. Okay, to check normality, you need to know the number of the sample. If it is less than 50, you can use Shapiro-Wilk. If it is more than 50, you need to use Kolmogorov-Smirnov. Okay, it is less than 50, it is only 30, therefore we can use Shapiro-Wilk. How to conduct it? This is a step: analyze, descriptive statistic, and explore. Analyze, descriptive statistic, and explore. Put all the variables that we will use in the regression analysis in the dependent list. After that, choose plots, untick stem and leaf, but tick histogram and also normality plot with test. Okay, after that, okay, then okay. Okay, you will see the result case processing summary, descriptive, but this is the important thing: test of normality. Okay, we focus on the Shapiro-Wilk here. Okay, the decision rule is that if the p-value is larger than 0.05, it means normal. We can see x1 average more than 0.05, x2 average more than 0.05, y1 average also more than 0.05. It means the model is normally distributed. How if one of them is not more than 0.05? It means it is not normally distributed. So you can fix that variable. Okay, how to fix the variable? You can see from the histogram. Okay, if you see here, the x1 is like bell curve, right? x2, this is the histogram. It is not like bell curve, but the normality test shows that it is still normal, so it is okay. If x2 is not normal, perhaps you can remove several data in the left so it form normal distribution or bell curve. And this is for y1, it is like bell curve as well. So if it is not normal, you can see from the histogram and see which data that makes this graph is not like bell curve. For example, in this case again, in x2 average, you can remove this data to make it like bell curve. Since it is normal, so you don't need to do anything. Besides Shapiro-Wilk, in the left side there is Kolmogorov-Smirnov as well, right? So if it is more than 50, you can see the Kolmogorov-Smirnov column. However, for Kolmogorov-Smirnov, actually there will be more simple tests. So for example, I have the data here about debt, asset turnover, and profitability. Okay, debt and asset turnover will be the independent variable and profitability will be the dependent variable. Here there are 63 data, right? Of course, we need to use Kolmogorov-Smirnov. Okay, I will give you the easier Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. Okay, the first step is that you need to bring up the residual value. How to bring up the residual value? So analyze, regression, linear, and then the independent variable is moved to the independent and the dependent move into dependent. In the save option, okay, tick unstandardized in the residual part. Okay, then continue and okay. Right? So here you will have residual value. Okay, now we will test Kolmogorov-Smirnov, the easier one. So analyze, non-parametric test, legacy dialect, and one sample KS. One more time, analyze, non-parametric test, legacy dialog, and sample KS. Click it. Okay, and then move unstandardized residual to the right in the test variable list, then okay. Alright, so what you need to see here is asymptotic. Okay, if it is more than 0.05, then it is normally distributed. If it is less than 0.05, it is not normally distributed. Here you can see it is more than 0.05, right? Therefore, it is normally distributed. The question is that how if it is less than 0.05? It means it is not normally distributed. The first one is simply you can remove the outlier data point that cause the distribution to deviate from the normality. You can see from the normality diagram. If the shape is like bell curve, it is normal. So you have to remove outlier to make the shape of the diagram is like bell curve. The second one, if your data is secondary numerical data, you can transform the data. You can transform using log, ln, square root, cube root, and the other things. And the last one, if the data is not normal, you can perform non-parametric tests. As your information, regression analysis is parametric test when the data has to be normally distributed. If your data is not normal, then you can conduct non-parametric tests. How to remove the outlier? This is the way. To know the outlier, that is analyze, descriptive statistics, and go to explore again. Okay. Move debt, asset turnover, profitability to the right. In the plot, tick histogram and normality plot with test. Okay, then continue. Okay. In the Kolmogorov-Smirnov column, you can see that debt actually is not normal, asset turnover actually is not normal, but profitability is normal. But since the result of the Kolmogorov-Smirnov using non-parametric test is normal, so we assume that it has been normally distributed. Okay, if in one sample K as showing that it is not normal, so you need to go to this part again and see which variable that is not normal. Oh, debt and asset turnover is still not normal. Therefore, you need to remove outlier in the debt and asset turnover. Okay, this is for example if it is not normal. How to know the outlier? You can see this graph directly. So you can see from this histogram, there is no outlier in this debt. Okay, now let's go to asset turnover. In the asset turnover, the star here is the outlier. Okay, you don't need to remove all the outlier, but you can choose the highest or the lowest outlier. For example, you can remove 46 data and also 47 data first. What is 46 and 47? It is the data in the 46 and 47th row. Okay, you can delete it and then check again whether it is normal or not until it is normally distributed. The second way, if it is not normal, you can transform the variable. How to transform the variable? This is the way. Transform, compute variable, and then you can transform all the variable, for example using ln. So the target variable, it will be the name of the variable. So for example, ln debt. The formula will be like this, ln, open bracket, debt, then okay. There will be ln debt here. So again, if your data is not normal, you can remove the outlier. The second one, if it is secondary numerical data, you can transform the data using log, using ln, square root, or cube root, and the other things. The last option is that you can conduct non-parametric tests instead of regression analysis. The second one is multicollinearity test. Multicollinearity is the concept where several independent variables in the model are correlated. Good data will have no multicollinearity, so each independent variable cannot be related with the other independent variables. To test the multicollinearity, we can use the VIF and also tolerance value. If the VIF less than 10 and the tolerance is more than 0.1, there is no multicollinearity. One more time, if the VIF less than 10 and the tolerance is more than 0.1, there is no multicollinearity. The question is that how if there is multicollinearity? How to fix the multicollinearity? So you have to eliminate the correlated variables until one variable remains. For example, x1, x2, and x3 are correlated. Therefore, you have to remove two independent variables, so one variable only remains. For example, I will remove x2 and also x3, so x1 remains. Now, how to conduct multicollinearity test? So we use this data ya, x1, x2, and also y1. Since the independent variable is more than 1, so we have to conduct multicollinearity test. The way is analyze, regression, linear. So when you conduct regression analysis directly, you can know the result of multi-collinearity test. Move the y1 into dependent, x1 and x2 into independent, and then choose statistic here, tick collinearity diagnostic. If your data is panel data or time series, you need to check autocorrelation as well, so you need to tick Durbin-Watson as well. So continue, then OK. You can see from the coefficient table, there is new column, tolerance and also VIF. Okay, if you see here, the tolerance is 0.978 for each and VIF 1.023 for each. The VIF have to be less than 10 and the tolerance have to be more than 0.1. Since the tolerance more than 0.1 and VIF is less than 10, it means there is no multi-collinearity. The next one is linearity test. Linearity test is used to test whether all linear regression model between dependent variable and independent variable are straight line or linear. This is the optional classical assumption test, and you can check it if you want to check linear regression model. If you want to use quadratic or cube regression model, you don't need to check linearity. However, as I mentioned previously, in the financial data, it may not be feasible to run because each x value will correspond to a unique y value. It will make the SPSS say that there will be a few cases, so it could not be run. However, since it is optional, so it doesn't become any problem. The test we use is test for linearity, and the decision rule is that if the p-value is higher than alpha, again the common alpha is 0.05, it is linear. The problem is that how if it is not linear? It means you cannot conduct linear regression model. You have to conduct quadratic or cube regression model because perhaps the model is not linear but quadratic or cube. This is how we check linearity. So the step is analyze. Use compare means and means. Okay, you move the independent variable in the independent list and dependent into dependent list. And then in the option choice, you can tick test for linearity. Okay, you can check test for linearity, continue, OK. This is the result. There will be two results, x1 and y1, x2 with y1. Yeah, so each independent variable with the dependent variable. Okay, you need to see the deviation from linearity, the sig1. Yeah, if the sig1 is more than 0.05, it means linear and you can conduct linear regression. Okay, so here the sig is 0.234, it means it is linear. The relationship between x1 and y1 is linear. x2 and y1, here the deviation from linearity is 0.373. It means it is also linear because it is more than 0.05.